Hello friends, welcome to the world of science fiction and forgotten words, Alien Universe. Don't forget to like, subscribe and never miss a new stories and movies from this channel. Thank you.
Three giant shadows appeared above Earth without warning. They blocked the sunlight over half the planet. Satellites failed. Radios screamed with static. And then a single message arrived, translated into every language on Earth at the same time. Kneel to the Dominion fleet, and your species will be allowed to live. Panic exploded across the world. Governments held emergency meetings. Cities stopped. Planes landed. Every news channel showed the same terrifying image in the sky. Three enormous alien ships, each larger than a continent, slowly rotating above. The clouds. No one had ever seen technology like this. Their metal surfaces looked alive, glowing with strange blue patterns that moved like flowing water. Every military radar on Earth locked onto them, but none of the weapon systems worked. Missiles would not launch. Targeting systems went blind. It was as if the ships were laughing at humanity. Within minutes, world leaders realized something terrifying. Earth could not fight back. Then the aliens sent a second message. We are not here to negotiate. We are here to claim what is now ours. In 72 hours, your governments will kneel before us. If you refuse, your cities will be erased. The message ended with a demonstration. One of the alien ships moved slightly. Just slightly. A thin beam of pale light shot down into the Pacific Ocean. For 2 seconds, nothing happened. Then, the ocean exploded. A massive wall of water rose miles into the air. Satellites captured the shockwave, traveling across the sea like a ring spreading from a stone dropped in water. Then every nuclear weapon on Earth combined. The world understood the message clearly. Humanity had 72 hours left. Inside the United Nations emergency bunker in Geneva, the atmosphere felt heavier than stone. Leaders from every major country sat around a long table, staring at the same screen. The alien fleet hovered silently above Earth. No one spoke for a long time. No one answered, because the truth was simple. Every military commander agreed. The room filled with quiet arguments, desperate ideas, and rising fear. Launch nukes? Pointless. Try diplomacy? The aliens had already shown they could destroy oceans with a small demonstration. Entire continents would vanish if they wanted. But this time, it was different. We will allow one representative of your species to board our command vessel. This human will hear the final terms of surrender. One representative. Just one person. The leaders looked at each other. Who would volunteer for a mission that was almost certainly a death sentence? I'll go. Heads turned immediately. A man stood near the doorway, calm and still, as if the sky above Earth was perfectly normal. He wasn't a politician. He was simply the human ambassador for extraterrestrial diplomacy, an office that had existed for 20 years. Daniel walked slowly toward the table. The world leaders stared at him in disbelief. You understand, one of them said carefully. They might kill you the moment you arrive. Daniel nodded. Yes. And if they don't kill you, another leader added, they'll demand Earth's surrender. For a moment, his expression was impossible to read. Then he gave a small, calm smile. Because, Daniel continued, they've already made their biggest mistake. The leaders exchanged confused looks. What mistake? Someone asked. Daniel didn't answer. Instead, he looked back at the screen where the alien fleet floated above Earth like silent gods. So confident. It made several people in the room feel a chill run down their spines. Trust me, he said. When I meet them, they won't last 3 seconds. The alien ship arrived faster than anyone expected. A smaller craft detached from the largest vessel and began descending toward Earth. It did not burn through the atmosphere like human spacecraft. Instead, it simply appeared closer and closer, as if space itself was folding to carry it down. Every camera on Earth followed it. The world watched in silence. The craft stopped above the United Nations compound in Geneva, floating perfectly still in the air. It was enormous, larger than a football stadium, and its surface shimmered like liquid metal. Then a single opening appeared beneath it. Number. Just a dark circle forming in the hull, like an eye slowly opening. A beam of pale blue light touched the ground. "That's your ride," someone whispered. Inside the bunker, dozens of security officers surrounded Daniel Arlen. Scientists rushed around him, attaching small sensors to his jacket, giving him a communicator and repeating the same instructions again and again. "Do not provoke them. Stay calm. Try to negotiate time." Daniel listened politely, but his eyes were somewhere else. High above the bunker ceiling, high above the clouds, where the alien fleet waited. Finally, the Secretary General stepped forward. His voice shook slightly. "Ambassador Arlen, humanity is trusting you with everything." Daniel gave a small nod. "I know. And if they demand surrender?" Daniel paused for a moment. Then he said something strange. "They won't," the secretary frowned. "You can't know that." Daniel didn't explain. Instead, he simply adjusted his coat and walked toward the elevator leading to the surface. No guards followed, no soldiers. Just one man walking alone. When Daniel stepped outside, the entire sky was glowing blue from the alien beam above him. Thousands of journalists, soldiers, and emergency vehicles surrounded the UN building, but no one spoke. They simply watched. Daniel walked straight toward the center of the light. For a moment, the beam surrounded him completely. Then he disappeared. Gasps spread through the crowd. Across the world, billions of people leaned closer to their screens. Inside the alien craft, Daniel felt no movement, no sensation of traveling. 1 second he stood on Earth. The next he stood somewhere else. The room around him was enormous and silent. The walls curved upward like the inside of a giant shell, glowing softly with shifting patterns of light. The air smelled strange clean, but unfamiliar. And in front of him stood the aliens. There were 3 of them. They were tall, nearly 9 feet high, with long thin limbs and dark silver skin that reflected the room's blue light. Their heads were smooth and elongated, their eyes glowing faintly like distant stars. They did not look surprised to see him. One of them stepped forward. When it spoke, the voice did not come from its mouth. It echoed directly inside Daniel's mind. "Human representative. You stand before the Dominion fleet." Daniel remained calm. "You asked for a representative," he said. "We have arrived to deliver your species' final option," the alien voice continued. "You will surrender your planet. Your governments will kneel. In return, humanity will be permitted to exist as a labor species within our empire." The words were cold, mechanical, certain. Billions of people watching on Earth felt their stomachs tighten. Daniel said nothing for several seconds. The alien continued. "If you refuse, your oceans, cities, and continents will be removed. Your civilization will end." A holographic image appeared in the air between them. Earth, small, fragile, completely surrounded by the alien fleet. "We will allow you to return to your leaders," the alien said. "You will advise them to surrender." Silence filled the chamber. Daniel slowly looked around the massive alien room. Then he looked back at the towering creatures in front of him, and something unexpected happened. Daniel smiled. Not nervously, not politely, confidently. The aliens noticed immediately. "You display amusement," the voice in his mind said. "Explain." Daniel took a slow breath. "You came all this way," he said calmly, "with ships the size of continents." The aliens said nothing. "You threatened our oceans, our cities, our entire world." Still silence. Daniel's smile grew slightly wider. "And yet," he said quietly, "you still made the same mistake every invading species makes." The glowing alien eyes narrowed. "What mistake?" Daniel looked directly at the tallest alien standing before him. Then he said the one sentence that instantly made the air in the chamber feel colder. "You came close enough for us to meet." For the first time since Daniel had entered the alien chamber, the 3 towering beings did not respond immediately. The glowing patterns along the walls flickered slightly, as if the ship itself had noticed the strange tension. "You speak in riddles," the alien voice echoed in Daniel's mind. "Clarify your statement." Daniel slowly placed his hands behind his back and began walking a few steps across the smooth floor, calmly studying the massive chamber around him. The aliens watched every movement. You said you studied humanity before arriving, Daniel said. That is correct. You know our wars, our weapons, our history. Yes. Daniel stopped walking and looked directly at them again. Then you should know something else, he said quietly. Humans are very careful about visitors. The tallest alien stepped closer. Its long shadow stretched across the glowing floor. We detected no weapons when you arrived, it said. Your species is incapable of threatening the Dominion fleet. Daniel tilted his head slightly. Are you sure? Across Earth, billions of viewers held their breath. Because as far as they knew, humanity had nothing capable of touching those ships. Back inside the alien vessel, the leaders' glowing eyes studied Daniel carefully. You are attempting psychological resistance, the alien voice said. It is ineffective. Daniel chuckled softly. No, he replied. I'm just explaining the situation. Another alien spoke. For the first time, its voice was colder, sharper. You are in no position to explain anything, human. Your world survives only because we allow it. Daniel slowly nodded. That's what you think. Silence again. Then Daniel reached into his coat pocket. Instantly, the three aliens reacted. Strange lines of blue energy appeared along this. Stop your movement, the alien leader commanded. Daniel froze, but only for a moment. Then he slowly pulled out a small black object no larger than a coin. The aliens scanned it instantly. Their ship's systems analyzed every atom and found nothing. No energy source, no weapon system, no radiation, just a simple human object. What is that? The alien demanded. Daniel looked down at the small disk resting in his palm. This, he said calmly, is the reason? Your fleet has already lost. On Earth, confusion spread through the control rooms. What is he holding? One scientist whispered. No idea, another replied. We've never seen that device. Inside the alien vessel, the leader stepped closer. Our scans detect no threat, Daniel shrugged. That's because it isn't a weapon. The alien paused. Then your statement is meaningless. Daniel looked back up at them. No, he said. It means you misunderstood our species. For the first time, a hint of uncertainty flickered in the alien voices. Explain. Daniel slowly closed his hand around the disk. You came here expecting warships, he said. You expected missiles, armies, defenses. The aliens said nothing. But humans rarely win wars with strength alone, Daniel continued. He lifted his hand slightly. We win with patience. The glowing eyes of the alien leader dimmed slightly as it processed his words. You believe this object changes your situation? Daniel gave a small nod. It already did. Our sensors detect an anomaly. The other two aliens immediately turned toward the walls of the chamber. Symbols began appearing across the glowing surfaces. What anomaly? The leader demanded. The second alien spoke, its voice now sharper. External signal detected. Another pause. Then the alien finished its report. Originating from inside our command network. Daniel didn't move, didn't react. He simply watched them. Across the chamber, strange pulses of light began racing across the walls. The alien ship systems were reacting, searching, scanning, trying to find the source. The leader turned slowly back toward Daniel. What have you done? Daniel calmly slipped the small disk back into his pocket. Nothing, he said. But your fleet. He glanced upward, toward where the giant ships waited beyond the hull, is about to learn something about humanity. The alien's voice turned cold. You are bluffing. Daniel smiled again. No, at that exact moment, across Earth, billions of people stared at the sky in confusion. The massive ships that had filled the clouds with cold blue light suddenly went completely dark, like giant shadows floating above the planet. The humming energy fields disappeared. Military radars around the world began screening with alerts. That is impossible, the leader replied. The Dominion fleet cannot be disrupted by a primitive civilization. Another wave of alerts rippled across the chamber. Command signals are no longer responding. Navigation systems offline. Primary weapons grid disconnected. The alien leader turned slowly toward Daniel. Its glowing eyes were no longer calm. They were confused. What have you done to our ships? Daniel didn't answer. Immediately. Earth. Dark. Still. Powerless. Daniel folded his arms. Remember, when you said you studied humanity? He asked quietly. Yes. And you learned about our wars? Yes. Daniel nodded slowly. Then you should also know something else we're very good at. The alien's voice sharpened. Humans don't wait for the war to start. Stared at him. The room fell silent. Then Daniel pointed gently toward the ceiling. But your mistake was assuming this was the first time we noticed you. The alien eyes flickered. Our fleet travels through folded space. No civilization below level 7 technology can detect our approach. Daniel chuckled softly. That's true, for most civilizations. Not violent, but unmistakable. Something inside their systems was changing. The second alien turned toward the wall. Displays again. Command override detected. Source unknown. The leader's voice grew colder. Trace it. The signal is coming from Earth. Daniel nodded. Of course it is. The alien leader stepped forward. That is impossible. Your planet does not possess technology capable of interfacing with Dominion systems. Daniel smiled again. Then Daniel finally revealed the truth. We didn't build the system, he said. We found it. The alien chamber went completely still. Clarify, the leader demanded. Daniel pointed toward the glowing stars beyond the window. The alien eyes narrowed. A structure, Daniel continued. Very old. Very advanced. Much older than humanity. The alien voice grew tense. You are describing a relic civilization. Another alarm suddenly echoed through the alien ship. Fleet engines locked. Command pathways blocked. Control authority transferred. The alien leader's glowing eyes widened slightly. Transferred. To whom? It demanded. The second alien scanned the data again. Then it spoke the answer slowly. Daniel gently tapped the pocket where the small black disc rested. The alien stared at him. Daniel's voice became calmer, almost sympathetic. The civilization that built the structure under Antarctica disappeared a very long time ago. He explained. But they left behind a system designed for one specific purpose. The alien leader understood first. Across space, the giant alien ships suddenly began moving. But not under alien command. Not toward Earth, but toward each other. Daniel shook his head gently. You invaded the wrong planet. The walls of the chamber flashed red. Another system report appeared. Dominion command codes rejected. External command accepted. The alien looked back at Daniel. Its voice was no longer calm. What are you? Daniel gave a small smile. Just the human ambassador. Outside the window, the alien fleet finished repositioning. Hundreds of weapons arrays slowly charged with light. And every single one of them was now pointing at the Dominion ships themselves. Inside the alien command chamber, no one spoke. The glowing symbols across the walls had turned completely red. Warning signals echoed through the ship in sharp pulses, repeating the same message again and again. External command authority confirmed. Fleet. Control transferred. Dominion systems overridden. The alien leader stood frozen near the window, staring at the impossible sight outside. The giant warships of the Dominion fleet were no longer aimed at Earth. They were aimed at each other. Thousands of weapons ports along their surfaces glowed, brighter as energy built inside them. The ships slowly repositioned themselves into a perfect circle around the planet. Us, prison made of their own technology. Daniel watched quietly. The alien leader turned back toward him, its glowing eyes no longer calm. You? Manipulated Dominion command structures. It said slowly. Daniel shook his head. No. Your systems recognize the control signal automatically. That signal should not exist, the alien replied sharply. Daniel gave a small shrug. And yet, it does. Across the chamber, another alien scanned the fleet data again and again. as if hoping the results would suddenly change. They have full access to propulsion systems. Primary weapons grids are active. Navigation control lost. The alien leader's voice lowered. Human. Return our fleet immediately. Daniel raised an eyebrow. Interesting, he said calmly. A few minutes ago, you were demanding Earth kneel. Silence filled the chamber. Daniel stepped closer to the window, looking out at the massive alien vessels surrounding the planet. Your mistake wasn't invading, he continued. The alien watched him carefully. Your mistake, Daniel said. Softly, was assuming humans were alone. The alien's voice sharpened again. The relic structure you described. It cannot give your species mastery over Dominion fleets. Daniel turned slightly. You're right, he said. It didn't. The alien leader paused, then explained. Daniel's expression became more serious now. The structure under Antarctica wasn't just a relic, he said quietly. It was a warning. For the first time, the aliens looked uncertain. Daniel continued. The civilization that built it fought a war a very long time ago. A war against species that expanded across galaxies, conquering weaker worlds. The alien leader did not move. Daniel looked directly into its glowing eyes. Sound familiar? The alien did not answer. Daniel continued. They lost that war. But before they disappeared, they left behind a system designed to protect younger civilizations. Outside the window, the Dominion ships continued glowing with dangerous energy. They built a safeguard, Daniel said. A way to stop fleets like yours. The alien leader's voice became colder. And you believe your species now controls it? Daniel smiled faintly. We don't control it. The alien paused. Then who does? Daniel's voice was calm. It decides for itself. At that moment, every weapon array on the alien fleet suddenly powered down. The glowing energy vanished instantly. The alien ships stopped moving. A new message appeared across the walls of the command chamber. The symbols were not Dominion language. We're older, much older. Even the aliens struggled to translate them. But slowly, the meaning became clear. Hostile expansion fleet detected. Protection protocol activated. Conflict unnecessary. Outside the window, the giant alien ships slowly turned again. This time, their engines began to glow, but not in attack formation. They were leaving orbit. One by one, the massive vessels started pulling away from Earth. The alien leader stared in disbelief. You are forcing our retreat. Daniel shook his head. No. He looked back at the message glowing across the chamber walls. You were judged. The alien fleet continued moving away from the planet, pulled by invisible control systems far older than either species. Within minutes, the first ship jumped into folded space and vanished. Then another dot and another dot. Soon, the sky above Earth was empty again. The alien leader looked back at Daniel one last time. This planet, it said slowly, is protected. Daniel nodded. Now you understand. The alien's voice lowered. Your species is under the protection of a higher civilization. Daniel smiled slightly. Maybe. The final Dominion ship disappeared into space. Silence filled the chamber. Then the alien command systems restarted. Control returned to them, but it no longer mattered. The invasion was over. Daniel adjusted his coat calmly. Looks like your 72-hour deadline ended a little early, he said. The alien leader said nothing. Daniel turned toward the glowing beam that would return him to Earth. Just before stepping into it, he paused and looked back once more. Oh, he added quietly, in case your empire ever considers coming back. The alien watched him carefully. Daniel's calm smile returned. Next time, he said, you might not get a warning.